They continue to be strong and can only remain strong if Indiana County people keep them that way.
Yeah, and that's been one of our focuses, and we're going to be doing a number of small business workshops this year. The first one we're planning for probably late April, early May, dealing with succession planning, and that's something that we've been hearing a lot about recently is, individuals who might be looking to step away from the business within the next 10 years and maybe don't have a family member or an employee to be able to hand that business off to, at least not yet, and what their plans are and how we can maybe assist them in some of those efforts. And, we've been talking with Ellen Ruddick, who, when she was with the Center for Family Business at IUP, did a lot of efforts in terms of succession planning. But it's been almost a decade since we've had some type of workshop related to it. But we're also focusing throughout later on in the summer about, being able to provide assistance in terms of accounting for businesses. We still hear a lot that small businesses in particular struggle with keeping their books and how to operate QuickBooks because they're so busy operating their business and they don't have the time necessarily to do that. And then later on, also recruiting and retaining employees. So those are the three topics we've been hearing the most about, and we're going to be focusing on them here coming up within the next 4 to 5 months. So we're trying to do things that we can help our businesses based on the feedback that we've gotten. And that's going to continue to be an effort in spite of all the growth that's coming in here and all the new businesses. We want to make sure that the ones that are here continue to grow and are strong.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really what the mission of the Chamber of Commerce is about. Yes, we promote new business. Yes, we do whatever we can to promote the fact that this is happening or that is happening in terms of infrastructure. But the bottom line is we have membership and we have folks that we need to keep them strong, and so that's what your efforts are all about.
Correct. Yeah, and we're still, there are still some things that we're working on with the project in Homer City. So I would encourage people to keep an eye out for a couple of surveys coming out that we're going to be putting out there in conjunction with the Tourist Bureau and Downtown Indiana. Now that we're all together in the same building, we're able to work together on a couple of initiatives, and we're doing some things that we might be able to work together to try to bring a little bit more of a light on what is happening in Homer City and some of the impacts that it could have positively on our local economy and how businesses can start to take advantage of that. So, there are some things that we're still looking at with some of the new businesses coming in, but also how that can impact our current businesses and how we can make sure that it impacts them positively.
Yeah, it is a really neat thing to be able to just walk across the room and you're meeting with another agency, isn't it?
It's a big room,
Yeah.
but it is. It's really nice. I'm so thrilled, and it's a sense of pride walking into that building now, and we can't wait to be able to open the doors officially to the public here. We're planning a ribbon cutting and an open house probably early April once we get everything lined up. We still have a few things to get ready in there, but we're moved in, and it's been great so far.
Yeah, that's a wonderful thing, and that will be one of the events that you look forward to in which you're involved here in this coming time. Of course, at this time of the year, here it is February, we're looking at the Excellence in Education program, and that big event is coming ever closer, ever quicker.
Yeah, I believe it's April 26th. I think that's the first Monday or the last Monday in April at the KCAC. So we're planning that right now, and we have a bunch of banners that we have to get out to some of the school districts with their students of the month, and we'll be making our rounds here in the next week with those, and still winding down some of the efforts that we've had with that program, and it's been great. And we have a couple things that we're focusing on as well this year that are a little bit different to help recognize some of the students and in particular even some of the small or the part-time jobs that they have, and trying to recognize some of the businesses who employ a lot of these students as well. So that's coming up, and we also have the Soft Skills Challenge that we're planning for early April, which is something that we've done for 3 years. I think we have more businesses signed up this year than we've ever had before, and that's the initiative with Aaron IU. They've done a great job working with us and helping to plan this, and they do a lot of the legwork, and that's where the schools send their juniors or seniors into downtown Indiana. They split up into groups, and they make various stops at different businesses, and at each business there's a different activity for them to do that's a soft skills related activity, a kind of a real world experience for them. And We have prizes. We have gift cards that kind of award the team that does the best in terms of those soft skills. But it's a great experience. The students have loved it the past few years. And like I said, we have more businesses this year than we've ever had. So we're happy to have that coming back to downtown Indiana as kind of a business education initiative in partnership with the Aaron IU unit.
It seems a while since we've had a business after hours. Maybe I'm just not paying as close attention as I should be, but I'm sure that we're thinking about that in 2020.
Yeah, well, we're scheduling them now. Our next one's not until March. Generally, January and February. We've had a couple of people show interest in it, but they were concerned about the weather, so we've moved those to March and April. So we do have some things coming up. I believe Kiski School out in Salzburg has got one scheduled. The Indiana Fire Association also. But these months are a little bit tougher because of the fact that there's so much uncertainty with the weather. If you would have scheduled something over the past few weeks, it would have probably gotten canceled or postponed or had some low attendance. But we do have a coffee talk coming up on the 24th of the month, and that's kind of our morning after hours, before hours, I guess you could call it. But that's our networking event that's in the morning, and it usually begins at 8 o'clock. And this month we're hosting it at the new building, so at the new Welcome Center at 600 Philadelphia Street. So if you want to get a glimpse of that building, before we completely finish it up, and or just come over and get some coffee and breakfast and be able to network with some folks, you can do that on the 24th of February at 8 a.m. You can get on our website, indianacountychamber.com, to RSVP, or just show up. We'll let you in. We're not going to kick you out.
One of the things we talked about with Byron last month had to do with basically the corridor and how it will be affected by the construction of the pedestrian bridge, which is going to be completed here this spring, most likely. And with that completion and the connection that it makes from one side of Route 22 to the other side of 22, it's going to really kickstart a bunch of projects, including the Pine Ridge Park projects and the things that they're thinking can go on there. It's another great way to attract people to Indiana County, but it's also a pretty neat thing for a really underutilized part of Indiana County. That park is a wonderful park.
I think it's great, and we've been in discussions, and I believe there's a meeting later this week down in Blairsville where we're going to be talking about how we can market that as a group, as a community, with the Tourist Bureau and the Chamber and a number of other organizations, and really how to get the word out there to the region of what's happening there, and how that pedestrian bridge in particular can be utilized, and it could be great for the parks and trails and people coming into the area, and it does kind of expand what was already a pretty great trail system here throughout the county. So, I think that's going to be great. I think people are going to be using that a lot. And the possibilities, you mentioned Pine Ridge Park, but I think even beyond that, now that we have that connection there, I think that can be, even bigger. So down the road, hopefully that's something that we can continue to grow, but it'll be a good asset once it opens up.
Yeah, the dream we recall from 10 or 15 years ago, people were talking about it one day being able to connect Indiana County with Washington, D.C. And you could actually ride a trail all the way
to
there.
D.C.,
Yeah, that was a big thing.
Yeah. Well, I think there's still a possibility of that. It may
someday, maybe.
Yeah, maybe not any time in the next couple of years, but we're still working on it. And there's a lot of things happening throughout the county. We've got a great parks and trails system. I mean, things in as far as that kind of thing in Indiana County. We have a lot of people that come from out of the area, and Laura from the Tourist Bureau would be a great one to ask about that. I'm sure she has brought that up, but we're really blessed here in Indiana County to have that kind of system and the great parks that we have and the trails that we have, and former Trails of the Year here in the county. So
things that would bring a change to Indiana County and the way it's perceived and the options that are available. That pedestrian bridge is really going to play a key role.
Yeah, it will, and those are the things I think people overlook sometimes. And a lot of times with that pedestrian bridge, we've heard a lot of the obstacles that it took to finally get that built. But we, I think right now you're going to start to hear more of the potential benefits that's going to have. And I think once it gets closer to opening up here in the spring, and once it does open up, hopefully we can get out there and market it effectively to make sure, number one, some of the businesses around that bridge are going to benefit from the visitors that come, and also how we can market it to let the visitors that could come know that it's there and how they can utilize it. So I think that things like that can be a real big benefit. And certainly with what's happening in that region right now of Indiana County, the southern part of the county, could be a lot more people in that area just from the people who are going to be working there. So
absolutely, we've talked here in this segment. We've made a journey here around Indiana County.
That's okay.
A lot of
things happening.
Topics on which to touch, and we really haven't talked all that much about Homer City redevelopment and the number of businesses that will be impacted by that in that whole area of Center Township, Burrell Township, White Township. Housing, of course, is a really big deal.
Yes.
And White Township, of course, announcing plans for some housing benefits there. It's this. Again, we say what we have been saying since last April is, man, you're not going to recognize this place in 5 years.
No, I think, if we can get the right kinds of infrastructure in place with some of the housing, and we've talked about some things White Township's doing. I know the proposed RV park that's going to be in Center Township as well. I think some of those things, hopefully we get those in place and, we can address some of the housing issues that'll be here. But overall, with the amount of people here, we keep being told that we need to be prepared for what's coming because it could potentially be even bigger than we expect. And, we want to make sure that we want to make sure our businesses are, but it's all positive. I mean, I know there's going to be some bumps in the road with this whole project, but I think overall in the next 5 years, people will be thrilled that it's here in Indiana County, and I certainly think the economy will benefit.
He is Mark Hilliard, Chamber of Commerce. Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Todd.
It's Indiana in the Morning on WCCS.